Hello everybody, welcome to the Frayed Brush. I'm Big Aaron. This is another Road to ReaperCon video. I think this is number 3, maybe, which is kind of scary because ReaperCon is, let me see, Labor Day weekend, so into August, into June. So roughly 2 months to get finished, which tells me I really need to kind of kick it in gear and get the Shieldmaiden done. So here she is right now. Kind of still in some rough stages here. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. So got the eyes mostly done. Started working on the skin and the hair. So what we're gonna do, if I can remember, yep, that looks about right. We'll go ahead and get some of this hair filled in and then start putting in some of the shadows. But first things first, let's get a good base coat on that hair, finish it up. And while we're doing that, so last time did a video, maybe the time before, I had showed that I got the brushes from Squidmar to the Squidmar MK1 series. Little update on those. Here's what they're doing. As you can see, yes, my channel name is The Frayed Brush. However, this is not my mascot. But yeah, not too good experiences with those so far. This is the, which one is this? This is the large. And then this is the extra large. You can tell it's kind of flared out there. They're pretty good as well. So those have pretty much been set to the side. So along with my Artist Opus brushes, I belong to the Painting Big Patreon, and I'll put a link to the Patreon down below so you can check it out. She introduced me to the Da Vinci Maestro Series 10, size 1. So this brush has done exceptionally well so far. Not quite sure it will replace my Artist Opus brushes because you can tell, let me see if I get both of these up here. You can tell there's still a significant difference. The Artist Opus does hold a little bit of a better point, but I am trying to try different things. Using all Reaper paints so far for this Shieldmaiden bust. So Reaper, if you're listening, again, I'm using all Reaper paints. So just in case you want to throw some swag my way, drop me a line. I'll be happy to accept. So let's get some of these base coats done and see how far we can get in a little bit of time. Since the Squidmar brush is kind of jacked, we'll go ahead, use it, just get some of these base coats thrown down, see how quick we can get it done. Base coats are not necessarily designed to be pretty. Base coats are designed to give a good base. I try to be neat with them, but sometimes it's just not possible. But I try not to have any colors bleeding over on any colors. Like the chains in the hair, I'm not worried about that. And I do realize the skin tone is looking rather pale. There is a reason for that. because if you look at what I believe is the picture the artist used to sculpt this off of, it is, the skin tone looks very pale. So trying to match the photo, not sure how well we're gonna get. I did end up having to strip this mini down. I use big size 8 craft brushes to sometimes do my base coats, as well as a lot of times to do my terrain. A lot of times when I'm using those and doing terrain, I'm using the Vallejo, I think they're Vallejo Earth, maybe something. Hold on a second, I'll go grab one. Let's see what this is called real quick. It's the Vallejo ground texture. This is not the only one. I have it in a few different colors. I'm not quite sure I have it in the different colors. I guess just because, you know, gotta have them all. But they all seem to have about the same grit in them. And adjust this a little bit. There we go. And what this is it is like a pumice paste, and it's really gritty. And what had happened was I had used one of my size 8 craft brushes to put some grit down on a base. Thought I had it rinsed out real good. I didn't. Then when I was redoing Shieldmaiden here, was not rinsed out good enough, and after she dried, there was a bunch of grit all over the skin, all over the flesh. Tried cleaning it up. There was just no doing it. So I did have to strip her and threw her in the good old alcohol bath. Got her out, got all the paint off of her. That's why you can tell, I think the previous videos I had her arms and things on her. That's why she has no arms now, because, you know, happy accidents. By stripping her, I was able to remove the arms and get into all the areas that I could see were going to be problem areas later on down the road. So, silver lining. And I don't really want to have to redo a lot of the face. And I'm thinking about maybe, I've got a couple different ways I'm thinking about going with the face. We'll see how it goes. But my ideas are to either kind of rotate the shading and highlighting now to where there's less shadow on this side, which allows me to go higher highlights on this side, or doing the same shadow on this side that is on this side. That way it's more of a direct light from in front. I think the direct light in front would turn out to be a little bit easier. Maybe define her face a little bit more with the shadows on each side, give her a little bit more of a feminine looking face. But we'll see what happens. We'll see which direction we go. All right, so that's good enough on the hair for now. That way we can get in here and get some color in there. That way I can actually show you something other than painting base coats. So what we're gonna do, where'd it go? Golden Shadow. Again, Reaper paints. Reaper, if you're listening, I'm using Reaper paints. Just throwing that out there, all right? So we wanna keep our original color. So we'll do, that was about 7, I don't know. drops the golden shadow, and we'll do 1 drop. This is Dragon Black. And then since we're kind of layering it in, we're gonna do 1-to-1 paint to water. So we had like, let's just say 9 drops of paint. Let's go ahead and do 9 drops of water. All right, now we'll go in. We'll, where'd Da Vinci go? Here we go. Go in here, mix this up. We don't want anything necessarily black, too dark, because there's not, if you're in full sun, there's not too many like solid black shadows. It always maintains some of the color in the shadow. So we got that. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go in and glaze this on the upper, or on the lower part of the hair where it poofs up here. And then we'll go in, maybe kind of drop some in these, drop some of these locks right here and just see how it looks. Also a little bit of tidbit of information. You see I've got my paint cup here. One thing I do whenever I empty out my paint cup and refill it is I have a bottle of wash and shampoo for kids. And if you think about it, the brushes we use are real hair, so it doesn't hurt to use shampoo to clean them. So what I do is I just mix a little bit of the shampoo, literally like a drop or 2 in my little paint jar here. Mix it in there, swish it up real good, and that helps keep the paint from setting up in your paintbrush as bad. And then also, if you get bored and you're sitting at your painting table and you don't know what to do next, you can sit here and swish your brush in your jar and it makes bubbles. So helpful and entertaining at the same time. Okay, so what we want to do, let's get a little bit of it on the brush, right? And you can see how thin that is, right? And you also see wherever the brush stops is where the paint gets deposited, okay? So we want to keep that in mind when we're doing this shadow. And this is, I haven't planned out any of these colors or anything, so this shadow could get on there and we could be like, nope, looks like crap, let's redo it. And we'll just redo it. So what we want to do, since the shadow is going to be right at the line between the forehead and the hair, we're going to go in and we're going to pull that down. And we don't want to create anything crazy, like it's not going to be, you know, like covering up half her face or anything like that. Just go kind of drop it in there. And then we can come up a little bit because it does kind of curl under. And I know it looks like pretty thick now, but it is mainly water. A lot of that will evaporate, and hopefully we will get just touches of shadow we can go throw in there. What's on the forehead, I'm not really worried about, because what we'll do, we'll take some of the color on the forehead and in different spots pull it up onto the hair. That way it doesn't look like her hair just hits her skin. They look kind of melded together, just like if you were to look at your hair in the mirror. So let's go and we'll drop it. Some of these areas up here, because those would cast a little bit of a shadow, especially down in between the braids. And you're not gonna be able to tell like huge differences, okay? Because we want it to be gradual. We want it to be something we can build up. So we'll throw it on the underside of the locks here, because that's where the shadow is gonna be at. Might be hard to see on camera. It's a little bit, but it actually is making a good shadow effect. It is actually making the hair look, you know, curved. As you can tell from the profile, that is, you know, it does come down and it would block some of the sunlight. Less so if we go with the straight on light. And then we'll also take this, and like I said, I'm not completely done with the base coat yet. This is just to be able to show you what the idea is. All these locks and stuff back here, not too concerned about, because that is where there's a huge shield that's going to be covering all this up. But we'll want to take this and we can drag it through, you know, some of the folds in the hair and kind of just contour it a little bit, get it down in those shadows, get it down in those deep recesses real well. You know, the sculptor did a great job. We want to be able to accentuate that as much as possible. So here on the underside, remember, we want to pull it down and get that drop of paint that the paintbrush deposits in the deepest part, because that's where we're going to need the darkest. So we want to use that little paint drop to our advantage. So I probably actually could have went a little bit thinner on this, but you know, it is what it is. So I'm gonna take, so this is kind of a deep spot here, and I had some issues with focus today. On the side, we're gonna wanna get it in here between the folds, give those a little bit more depth. Coming up in there a little bit. And we're working with thin enough that once it's dry, we can come back in and put another one, just kind of deepen them a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if this will work. Can a little bit. You can tell where it darkened that other side a little bit. Probably want to push it just a little bit more, maybe. I don't know, we still got highlights and everything else to go. So, we got something on my brush. Get off there, you. All right. I'm gonna drag it through the trails here, because if we do decide to go, you know, direct, like kind of like forward facing, the entire top of the head is not going to be in light, so there will be some shadow. Got some more of these locks to pick out. Make sure you get around those. There we go. That's enough to give it a little bit of some look what we're going after. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on those highlights a little bit. So we're gonna take some more of our golden shadow and we'll keep it a little bit more controlled this time. There's 5. We'll do, where's linen? We'll use linen white. Again, Reaper. We'll do 1 drop of linen white. Also, this linen white is the same white we used to start highlighting the skin. So that does a good job of marrying the skin and the hair together by kind of, you know, using the same colors wherever you can in between both. All right, we did 5 drops, 6 drops of paint, 6 drops of water, and I'm gonna want a little bit better detail control on this one. So I'm gonna go to the Artist Opus brush, and basically what this is gonna do, this is not going to be our only highlight, okay? This will be where we put in for the higher areas of the hair. And then we'll go back in with an even lighter color to hit those even higher points, show them off a little bit more. So now we're gonna take this, and we kind of want to run it, you know, along the high points of the hair as best we can. You know, we want to follow, you know, the line of the hair. That way it looks more natural. And this is also where we can go in and we can hit the high spots on the braids. Now, just because a braid has a high spot, that doesn't necessarily mean, you know, because the braid sticks out more on the bottom back side as well, you know, just because that is a high spot on the braid, we're not going to use that. Only the parts facing up or towards your the direction your light's coming from. I'm gonna go ahead and get some of these, and this really isn't looking too bad in my opinion. It does not appear that the camera is pulling out as much detail as is in person. That's okay. Work with what you got, right? Okay, I like the way that's looking. I think so far so good. We'll hit up some of these little eye areas here. Just on the other side where we placed that shadow. Get the little knots a little bit more. All right, looking good. And now we will go ahead, and before we did 5 drops of the golden shadow to the 1 drop of white. Now we're gonna do 6 drops total. Let's say we do 2 of the golden shadow, and we'll do 4 of the linen white. And again, 6 drops of paint, 6 drops of water, because we want to work as thin as possible. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this will give us a good gauge too of seeing how everything's going to work out without being completely dedicated to how this is going to look, just in case we want to change anything up. So with this being the highest highlight, this is going to be significantly brighter, and this is mainly going to go on the front. I think we got that there. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to try to pick out individual strands of hair, and the way we're going to do that is by using the side of our brush and trying to just move along the tops, not like that. So paint might be a little too watery for this, a little too thin down, but we can still at least get an idea of what it's gonna look like. And hopefully we'll like it. And other than maybe a few touch-ups, I'll be able to go back in, use these same colors. Wow, you really can't tell that much. So this section right here did turn out the best. I think we might keep that. We'll have to go back in and touch up some spots where, you know, the paint was a little bit too thin. Kind of ran, it's okay. Anything can be fixed. Can you see that any better? Nope, no better, okay. But you can kind of tell a lot of this where it looks like a reflection is not. That's actually the highlight we put in. Probably could have kept from pulling them back down so far. Probably could have kept them more like up in this range here. That way they're getting that highest point for the brightest highlight. Yeah, we can adjust that a little bit. We can pull the shadow back up a little bit, put in our base tone in there. See how that looks. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, remember to give it a thumbs up, subscribe. Subscriptions always help out. Remember, if you're watching from Reaper, I use all your stuff, so hook a brother up. Hope everybody's having a great Monday. Again, this is the Frayed Brush. I'm Big Aaron. And we will talk to you again soon. Now remember, if anybody asks, Big Aaron sent you.